Hi, I'm Nav, and my question is, why did you want to be a science teacher?
Why did I want to be a science teacher? I have always really enjoyed science, and in 4th grade I knew I wanted to become a teacher, but in 6th grade I had a really, really wonderful science teacher who made it fun for me, and I understood the material. We did really fun experiments, so at that point I kind of knew, like, I like the science thing, and I think that's what I want to do.
I'm Yassine, and my question for you is, how have you enjoyed your time here at Slauson?
I loved my time here at Slauson. I don't want to leave. I think it's wonderful. My last day is coming up shortly, and the kids are nice. Everybody's wonderful. It's been a great time.
My name is Tariq. When is your first day of Slauson Middle School?
When was my first day? My first day was January 5th, I believe. I'm pretty sure January 5th.
I'm Adam, and my question is, what is your favorite Disney character?
My favorite Disney character? The one that comes to mind is the Lightning McQueen, maybe, from Cars. I really enjoyed Cars, and that's the first thing that pops into my head, so maybe him. I think maybe Lightning McQueen.
What's your favorite thing about Slauson so far?
My favorite thing? Well, like I said, I really enjoy the students, but I also really enjoy the resources available to special needs and special education students. I've never experienced a classroom with teacher assistants that can be so helpful, so I think that's a very wonderful thing about Slauson. Really great resources for your students.
What is your favorite planet?
What is my favorite planet? Oh, boy. I would say maybe Jupiter or Saturn. Jupiter is the largest, which is pretty awesome, right? And it's just this big ball of gas. Then there's gravity holding it together. That's pretty crazy. But Saturn has the rings. And the rings are really beautiful, so it would be one of those two.
What are you doing after school?
Today, or when I graduate. Today, I'm getting fingerprinted so I can become a substitute teacher. So that'll be good. I'll be here a little bit longer, and I'll be taking over for the MSTEP test. So I'll be getting fingerprinted.
I'm Hazana. My question is, why did you come to Slauson?
Why? This was the placement I was given. So the student teachers don't get a choice or a say in where they want to go, but I'm very, very happy I ended up here. This is a wonderful placement, and quite frankly, it's kind of like a perfect world situation. I don't think I could have it any better.
I'm Juliet, and what grades do you want to teach?
I would love to teach 6th through 8th grade. I am allowed to teach 6th through 12th grade, but I really think my niche is in the middle school. I get to be a little goofy with you guys, I don't have to act so cool and tough, and I get to have fun, and you're at a good age, so I really like middle school.
Mahira, why do you like science?
Why do I like science? I just find it so fascinating. I mean, there's science in everything, and some of the concepts, they blow your mind. Like, things you wouldn't even think about, or things you might not think to connect. It's just like one thing after another, and it always keeps you guessing, and you always want to learn more.
I'm Chloe. What is your favorite thing about science?
My favorite thing about science? I guess that you can always discover new things. There's no limit, there's no end result. You can always keep going and finding more stuff. Lots of great possibilities.
I'm Juliana, and is it easy being a student teacher?
I think so. I'm enjoying it, but I love this. Like I said, I'm in my niche here, and this is what I want to do. And I've always known that I wanted to be a teacher, so I find it easy because I love it.
I'm David, and what's your favorite lab that we've done?
Favorite? Oh boy. I think the Waves lab that we just did was a nice one for you. It was an easy lab, but you got to see some really complicated concepts. And I think the pendulum lab was kind of neat too.
I'm Kyle, and the question is, where do you come up with the ideas for the daily confidentials?
For the daily confidentials, I love the daily confidentials. I don't know, it kind of came to me one day before as I was planning my lessons for your class. And then the questions, I just kind of think about them when I'm driving home. I've got a bit of a drive, so I kind of sit in my car and think, what do I want to know about my students, and how can I relate to them more and get to know them better? So they kind of just stem from that thought process.
My second question is, what are some of your favorite hobbies?
Some of my favorite hobbies? I like trying new restaurants. I'm always looking for a really good, nice new restaurant to go to. And my favorite, as Alex knows, I love going to the Tigers games. So opening day is coming up soon, and I cannot wait to get out there and see a game. Those are probably two of my most favorite things.
What would you improve here at Slauson if you were not?
What would I improve? That's a good question. I think maybe preparing you folks a little bit more for high school. I think like we're trying to get you to go there, but maybe we're not rigorous enough, or maybe we don't have like a strict enough, like your assignments due, you gotta turn it in. But I would try and change the way that we prepare you for high school a little bit more.
Made you want to do the culminating activity?
What made me, I wanted my students to explore their boundaries outside of their comfort zone. In life, you're going to work with people that you may not necessarily like, people who are completely different than you, people who have different beliefs or views as you, and that is going to happen every day in your life. So you need to start learning about here in middle school because you are surrounded by a whole bunch of different kids who are different from you and think differently than you. So if you kind of learn how to handle yourself and manage each other at a young age, the older you get, the easier it will be.
If you could travel back in time, what year would you travel to?
Ooh, this is a good one. See, I was born in '91, so I got a little bit of the '80s and a lot of the '90s, and I liked that time period. So maybe the '90s because they had good cartoons, and they don't have the same kind of cartoons now that they do back then. And I would totally watch them again.
What do you do in your free time?
What do I do in my free time? I grade all of your papers. That's what I've been doing a lot of lately, is a ton of grading. And we have a cat. We adopted a cat recently, so I play with Mittens. We call her Little Mitties. I don't know, what else do we do? I don't know. We bought a house, so we're trying to renovate that and get that going and make it look nice and pretty. And besides that, I catch up on TV shows, kind of like you, maybe a Netflix binge every once in a while. That's really about it.
So are you able to do any kind of jobs while you're a student teaching, or is this, how much time does this take of you?
This takes a lot of time. They highly recommend that you do not work while student teaching. And I worked from the age, so many of you are, think 13 turning 14. I started working at 15 years old, so that's just a year away from some of you. And I worked the whole time up until student teaching, and I knew student teaching would be a lot of work, and I wanted to give it everything that I had, so I quit my job so I could focus here, and it's fine. I saved up money, taking care of myself, we're good there. But it's a lot of work. It's more than a full-time job. You still work when you go to home. Like I said, I grade your papers every night, and it doesn't stop till I go to bed.
If these kids were to consider going into the field of education, what kind of advice would you give them about becoming a teacher?
What kind of advice would I give you? I would say you have to be very good at multitasking. And even when you're frustrated, you have to kind of just take a breather and be encouraging as you could possibly be in that moment. But it is a lot, and when you have 30 kids in a classroom who are coming up to you all at once, and then you have that 4 or 5 times a day, it kind of takes its toll on you. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to multitask, you have to be able to take care of everybody's problems, you have to be encouraging and nice and considerate, but you also have to push your students to go past their boundaries. So if you ask me a question that you can find the answer to by talking to someone else, please go talk to that person first. Don't make me your first resource. I should be your last resource.
What has been your biggest challenge since you've been a student teacher?
My biggest, I would say,
Be quiet.
in terms of my own life, I guess finding a balance between working and still having time for myself. Because I've rarely seen my family. I haven't been able to see my boyfriend as much. We work together, we live together, but when I'm grading and he's in the other room, we don't really get that communication. And I haven't had time to do much for myself either. In terms of the classroom, I would say figuring out how to differentiate for the students. So for the lower functioning students or the kids with special needs, I can do that. But for the ones who are more advanced and need a little bit more challenge, I need to find good resources on how to challenge them so that they're not disintrigued in class or uninterested.
Very good. Well, I'm so glad you could come here to Slauson.
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
I think it's